to the Safari Rally Kenya TV. My name is Sean Osimbo, and today we'll be talking to a driver that most people in the country are very familiar with, and that is Nikhil Sachania. We are here at his garage on Mombasa Road near the Imara Mall, and I can't just wait for him to tell us what is going on behind the scenes. Also in the mix is his navigator, that is Karan Patel, who we'll be chatting to later. So let's just quickly get into it. Nikhil, karibu sana.
Thank you.
Anticipation is building up for Kenya's premier sporting event, and that is the WRC Safari Rally, one of the toughest rallies on earth. It's here, and it's amazing that we Kenyans actually have to host such a rally. Just talk to us about how ready and what's happening behind the scenes to make sure you and your team are ready for this event.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It's one of the toughest events in the world, as it's been claimed. We've started preparation on the cars. We do have a little photo shoot on Thursday with the car before we strip it down totally. So we have all the parts ready, from next week the car will be totally as a shell. All the seats will be out, the engine will be dropped, gearbox dropped, wheels out. We'll get everything tested. Whatever we feel that has a crack, in anticipation for how rough the event is, we know the little things is what can let us down. Yeah.
And about the car being stripped down and making sure it's ready, everything's stripped down and then new parts put in. We know that is thanks to, let's say, KICC,
yep.
Who actually injected 185 million Kenyan shillings into the WRC Safari Rally. At the same time, there's some support that was extended to your team and Karan Patel's team. So talk to me how important that was for you as Nikhil, as a driver, and to the team, and also to the rally drivers out there, especially Kenyan rally drivers who are waiting on that sponsorship or who have already received the sponsorship.
Yeah, I mean, I'm very grateful for KCB to support us this year. It's the third year now we'll be with them, so it's I think it was quite an achievement for them, and I respect that they respect our work, they trust in what we do, for them to support us for this rally. I mean, times are a bit hard, so without their support, I don't think we would have actually taken part in this rally. We were quite contemplating whether we should or not, and then when they came on board, obviously the whole entire team was quite motivated, and Deep and I are quite ecstatic to be taking part again, our fourth time in the WRC.
Yeah. Now let's just run it back. Let's rewind it back. For Nikhil, during your childhood, any memories you have of this iconic event, the Safari Rally?
Yeah, I was actually talking to Dad just a few days ago. I remember during the Easter we went out. We would go out as a whole group of family and friends, and Karan included, I think. Because we're all family friends. I think we went somewhere out. I can't remember where it was, but I do remember watching Colin McRae, Richard Burns in their old classic cars, the WRC spec cars, obviously. And just being in that environment, it brings back a lot of memories. Barbecue going on, all our fathers are chatting. They're all rally drivers, so it's a nice experience. And now for us to be part of that, and hopefully fans will have the same kind of memories later on. Yeah.
That's what you call a full circle moment. And let's just take it still back when we're talking about your childhood and everything. It has been quite a journey to get to where you are right now. First of all, why motorsports? There's so many sports. You have done football, rugby, but why motorsport for you?
I think it was always instilled when I was younger. I used to hear a lot of stories of my dad being a rally driver, and then eventually when I got into secondary school, he actually got back into rallying. So it's always been part of our, I would say that something mechanical is going on. I used to take part with radio control cars. Then eventually we used to do 4x4 challenges. So there's always a small part of my life that involved racing with some sort of machine.
And we've had a chat before, and I know I've talked to so many rally drivers, but this is a statement that is going to come from my heart. When I see you, Nikhil, I see resilience personified. Despite facing challenges, you refuse to let any circumstance define your future or what you love. as Kenya's first paraplegic rally driver, you've demonstrated, let me say, unwavering determination. Just could you share with us the incident that happened in your past and why you never chose to quit?
Thanks for those kind words. Yeah, I mean, it's a tough way to put it. I always say that it's mind over matter. I've always set my mind to do something that, if I want to do something, I'll try and get it done, be it how many obstacles come in my way. When I had my accident, it was 2012. Obviously at the time I didn't expect to get back into rallying, but as soon as I had my operation and my rehabilitation kind of ongoing, I used to Google a lot, search a lot, that is anyone else in my condition able to take part in motorsports again. And I found a ton of people around the world who are taking part in it. I got in contact with a few, and 10 years of rallying, and here we are.
Wow, quite inspiring. Now let's talk about this baby. You guys just treat your cars as babies. Let's talk about this baby over here. So first of all, does it have a nickname?
No, I don't think she has a nickname. No name.
Oh, it's a she.
It's a she. We only know of that. Yeah.
For the guys, it's a she, and then for the ladies, it's a he. So quite interesting. So, well, because of what you've gone through and everything you've gone through, I know for so many people at home would want to know more details about just being a paraplegic driver. Any modifications, special modifications done to this car that is different from other cars on the tracks?
Yeah, so the main modification we have to the car is the hand controls. There's no pedals that are in this car. We've removed all the pedals. There's like a blanking plate that covers the pedals that are there, so that my feet can just rest. Then the main bulk of it is on the steering wheel. There's a throttle that you press down to accelerate, and there's a ring at the back that you push or you pull up with your hands to press the brake. And then this currently is running like an automatic gearbox. I don't require a clutch, but I change gears on the fly with as if it would be a sequential gearbox. Other than that, it's a stock rally car.
But you have to admit the modifications were a bit costly, right?
Yes. Luckily, when I bought the car before this, I got in touch with someone who was a paraplegic as well, and he had the hand controls inbuilt. So I took them out of the old car, put them in this. But a going rate today would be about 15,000 euros for the current system I have.
Wow. And then you're in the car, and Nikhil Patel is also in the car.
Of course.
And we always talk about that relationship because most people are so curious. The race is full of ups and downs. The race is very intense, and you have this guy who you have to sit in the car with for a couple of minutes when you're maneuvering through a stage. Talk to us about just that partnership between you and Nikhil Patel. Yeah,
it's been a good partnership. I think we've sort of been friends for a longer time than we've started rallying. Rallying I think has brought us even closer. It does take a lot of guts to sit with someone, especially in my condition, I would imagine. And it also takes guts for a driver to sit next to someone he has to put his trust in fully. So I think we've gelled well over the few years. We've managed to complete 3 Safari rallies successfully. So I think we're more than capable, and I think we know what we're doing now. But yeah, it does take a lot of trust to, like he would call a note, and I have to assume that he's correct, that this is a fast and it's not a slow, or it's not a caution, or it's not a jump, and I can take it at the speed that I want to take it at. And he should have full trust in me that what he's called is I'm gonna be listening to him. So there's always that mix and match, and we've prevailed on that, so it's good.
So this brings me to my next question. Name 3 things you like about Nikhil Patel.
Yeah. 3 things. That's a tough one. No, he's very. He likes being very meticulous about all his numbers and timings in the cars. So he's always got a calculator with his phone. He's always punching in numbers and stuff. So I like that he's always on time in that sense. And he does keep time even generally when it comes to like these interviews and stuff. He's always here on time. He's always making calls, and he's like my personal secretary when it comes to rallying. So he likes doing all the paperwork. So yeah, there's a few things that we like about Deep.
They're not a few things. It's a whole relationship going on there. Now back to the safari. As a paraplegic driver, I know there's a lot that goes on mentally, physically, when it comes to just making sure you're ready for the race. So talk to us about the physical part, the mental part. How do you reconcile? As human beings, we can have 1,000,001 thoughts or expectations and everything. So how do you reconcile that ahead of that rally?
I mean, I think it's pretty much like everybody else. You wake up in the morning, there's a rally. I normally before rally, I don't normally eat. Probably have a cup of coffee. Then the rituals are pretty much the same. I don't think it's much different than an able-bodied driver. We have to be physically fit, obviously. It's a grueling 4 days of rough work, dusty work. So yeah, I try and keep my level best to be fit. And mentally, a good wind down is always needed. Yeah.
And let's talk about the most memorable moment of your rally career, and then also the most memorable moment in the safari rally, to be specific.
I think my most memorable moment would be my first rally. It's one of the toughest rallies I did. It was in El Ravine. I entered not knowing what to expect, and I also entered without actually notifying any media, or the only people who knew I was in a wheelchair was my family and some of the major officials who approved my licensing and stuff. When we finished off, it was like we finished last, but when we came out of the car, it was one of the most memorable experiences I can have. Very emotional, it was a good memory.
And in the safari rally?
In the safari rally, when we almost rolled over in Hell's Gate,
I remember that. How did you guys? But I know you drivers have those moments. So how do you just reconcile everything? You go like, whoa, or do you go like, or do you just continue and be like, we'll recap that later? Yeah,
so this one happened just at the flying finish.
Yeah.
So it was just like, when you're in the car, it feels really slow. When you watch the video, it happened pretty quick.
It was, I remember.
So I when we landed down, it was just flying finish, and that was it. Deep was like, what just happened? Wow. And I'm just like, yo, we're good.
Yeah.
Because the car is okay, car's okay. And then we just carried on. Yeah.
Wonderful. So as we wrap up, I would like to know your message when it comes to disability in sports. It's still one of those topics that people rarely handle.
Yep.
But your story, as I had said earlier, is a story of strength, resilience, and you're one of the most decorated and celebrated drivers. So that means you've done it.
Yeah.
So especially to the people, even the government entity, in terms of just supporting people who are disabled and they still want to pursue their passion.
To the people who are in my condition or a similar condition, I know disabilities have a wide range of. So I mean, look, at the end of the day, it's more of mind over matter, as I said earlier. If you put your mind to it, you can get through it. Sometimes it's nice to explore. It doesn't have to be motorsport. It doesn't have to be archery. It doesn't have to be shooting. It could be something that you just want to do and you enjoy doing this thing. So when you put your mind to it, I think that's the only way you can get through it. There's always a way to get something done. That's what I've learned in these past 12 years since I've had my accident. I wanted to become a scuba diver. I managed to get that done. I wanted to go bungee jumping. I managed to get that done. So that there may be something blocking you in a way, but there is always a way around it. It's just a matter of you putting your head together and say that, yes, I want to do this. How can I get it done? And you'll be surprised there are a lot of people who will be behind you, helping you, pushing you to that goal.
And let's talk about also the other young drivers, because we know the sport is very expensive. You have to admit, and I think that is what we are learning as we continue to talk to Kenyan drivers, Kenyan teams, rally teams. Everyone talks about the money aspect. We can't ignore that.
Yeah.
But there's still that young boy or young girl who's still dreaming very big to join the sport.
Yeah.
What's your message to them, and where do you think they can start from?
I mean, it's it's always a fun sport. From the outside, you always look at it. Yes, as a youngster, when I was young, I always wanted to be a rally driver, and I'm fortunate to be in the position I am here with KCB, obviously. But yeah, a great place to start would be, like grassroots. If it's something like autocross, where the youngsters, they have Bambino class, and you can start from really young and then build your way up in the rankings. That's, I think, it's a bit more affordable. Obviously, there's go-karting. There's so many tracks now in Nairobi, up in Limuru, up in Nathi River. So that's a nice place to start off, where you don't have to invest into a cart. You don't have to invest into much gear even, because you're hiring out when you pay your track fees or whatever it is. That's a nice way to get into motorsports, how a competition runs. They have a lot of competitions, the track event guys. But yeah, I think start them young, and I'm sure that now with the exposure of WRC being here, there'll be a lot more eyes on local talent, and I'm sure it'll go much further.
And before we go to the last part, where is your message to your fans, let's talk about Easter weekend. What are you hoping to achieve as Nikhil Sachania when you go with the team into the rally? Like, what are you hoping to achieve in the Safari Rally?
Yeah, so we know what to expect. We know what relatively to expect in what's going to happen in the rally. So our main point is to keep it clean as much as we can. We know that the P1 cars are going to rip up the roads for us being right at the back. So it's just a matter of driving with our heads, keeping a clear mind where we can push, and we know that road surface kind of favors the car. We'll push, and I've always said that I want to try to finish top 15. I still have that same goal. Last year we finished third in the KNRC category as well, so I hope to be up there. I know it's a long rally, anything can happen, but yeah, those are our goals.
Thank you so much for talking to us, and as we wrap up, our message to your fans. I know there'll be people there screaming, Nikhil, looking for, consistently checking, the table and the category. So a message to them. Yeah,
I mean, look, it's Easter weekend. I hope everyone can come out. It's a good 4 days of fun, dust. I know it's dusty, but all I say is come out with a barbecue, have a few drinks, enjoy yourselves, be safe, but most importantly, come out to cheer us and feel the roar.
Yes, feel the roar. Gurumisha.
Gurumisha.
Feel the roar. I love that. I love the slogan they did this year, KCB. Yeah. Thank you so much for talking to us, Nikhil. We wish you the very best. We'll be also cheering from behind the scenes. We'll be cheering all Kenyan drivers. But maybe you're our favorite. Just never know. But thank you so much for doing this with us.
Thank you.
Yes, we'll continue the journey all the way.
Great.
And we wish you and Karan Patel all the best.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
That was Nikhil Sachania we were talking to. Quite an inspiring story from him. You've heard where he came from, what he's hoping to achieve. Nothing has stopped him on the way. He keeps on pushing and pushing and pushing, and so can you. So thank you so much for tuning in and just enjoying that interview with Nikhil. Thank you.